to talk about my top 6 fat burning foods again, because the other day I got a lot of questions afterwards. So I needed to come back and actually sit and talk to you guys about what we talk about what we're referring to when we say fat burning foods. So there's a couple of things. One, I want to make sure that I have all of my questions and everything all, I can see you guys' questions, so hold on. I'm trying to get my computer so I can see your questions. All right, I think I can see. Okay, here you go. Okay, so when I refer to fat burning foods, I am talking about foods that help us to lose weight and manage our weight and keep that weight low. One of the ways in which we know that that occurs is through angiogenesis. Now, angiogenesis is really familiar in the realm of cancer and cancer prevention and cancer treatment. But the thing about it is that it's also how fat cells are fed and grown. So angiogenesis inhibition is being able to modulate the amount of blood vessels that go to cells. So we know and have treated cancer like this for decades. Cancer patients are often given angiogenesis inhibiting compounds in order to reduce the cancer cells. And the way that that happens, I have some demos for you today. This is an example of angiogenesis. What that shows is we have all of these blood capillaries that go to a tumor cell, and in our case, for our reference, go to fat cells. Angiogenesis is when those blood vessels grow and they start feeding the cell a lot more nutrients, right? So in the terms of cancer, then this causes the tumor itself to grow because it's getting more blood, it's getting more food, and it's causing it to grow. The goal of angiogenesis inhibiting is to bring all of those highways that's bringing blood and nutrients to that tumor or to that fat cell, is to bring it back to this, to modulate it, to bring it down. The way that this applies to our purposes of weight loss is cancer tumors and fat cells are actually fed the same way through the same process of angiogenesis. So when it comes to losing weight, what we know is that if we modulate angiogenesis, if we get rid of some of those pathways, then it can actually help you with weight loss. There's one research study where they took overweight and obese mice and they gave them angiogenesis inhibiting compounds. When they gave them the compounds, the mice lost weight. They came down to a normal size, right? When they took the compounds away, then the mice gained weight. They did it 3 times to make sure that it was the angiogenesis inhibiting compounds that actually helped the mice to lose weight and come down to a normal weight. And lo and behold, every time they gave the mice the compounds, then they lost weight, and when they took it away, they gained weight, right? So we do not have this in a human study yet, but we know that oftentimes these studies are very applicable to people. And so what we learned from this study is angiogenesis inhibiting compounds can actually help fat cells decrease. But what we also know is that they have to be given consistently, right? Because every time they stopped the compounds, the mice began to gain weight. They also did another study where they actually took foods and vitamins and they compared them to angiogenesis inhibiting compounds that are given to patients while they are being treated for cancer. So they literally compared food to medication, right? And what they found is that there were many foods that had the equivalent or even more angiogenesis inhibiting compounds than the cancer drugs themselves. So I'm going to give a disclaimer. My disclaimer is this video is not about how to treat your cancer with food. I am not an oncologist. I am not a doctor. I would recommend that you go and you look up the website Eat to Beat, which is a website that is dedicated to teaching cancer patients and cancer survivors how to use nutrition to help in their health care. I also recommend that you go to a TED Talks that's called by Dr. William Li. His last name is spelled L-I, and it's called Can We Starve Cancer? So with that placed to the side and all of my disclaimers done, we are going to talk about this and how it actually affects weight, because my goal is to help to inform you so that you can make informed decisions when it comes to your nutrition. So what are those top six foods that you should be incorporating in your diet that is going to increase the angiogenesis inhibition and hopefully mitigate your weight gain and actually help you to lose weight? So, number one, and I have handouts. We talk about this a lot, right? But I wanted to give you a little bit more detail about when, how, why you should incorporate turmeric into your diet and how it can treat you. It can treat certain illnesses and improve other illnesses. Turmeric, of all of the things that they looked at, and we're going to look at some other ones, turmeric was very high. It was like 3 or 4 on the scale of about 20 to 30 things that they tested. So it was really high, and it was above many of the actual medications that they use to treat cancer. The angiogenesis inhibiting compounds in turmeric is really high. Now, we know that turmeric is really beneficial for a multitude of things, right? Turmeric has anti-cancer properties. It's angiogenesis inhibiting. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory. It can reduce your cholesterol. If you are not incorporating turmeric into your diet on a daily basis, I highly, highly recommend that you do that. Because turmeric, we know it has been around for thousands of years. And now that we're actually doing research and seeing like what was it about it that made Ayurvedic medicine think of this as the golden herb, right? So this is some of the things that we know. We know that turmeric has an active ingredient called curcumin, and curcumin is really what we are trying to get when we consume turmeric. But many people don't consume turmeric properly to maximize its benefit. There are a few things that you have to know about turmeric. Number one, curcumin is the beneficial compound within turmeric that you are trying to access, that we want to access because that's where all of the benefits occur for our body. But unfortunately, it is not very bioavailable. I want you to remember that word because I'm going to probably use it often in these lives. Bioavailable is nutrients that is available, meaning it's easy to access for our body. Okay, so that's what bioavailable means, that you can access those nutrients without help from any other compound. So, for example, when you're eating something with iron, or you're eating a food that has vitamin A, vitamin K, those are very bioavailable, right? So that means your body can access those things and absorb it from the food when it comes from natural sources. So even though curcumin is coming from a natural source, it's not very bioavailable. I want you to think of it as kind of like a treasure being locked inside of a lockbox, and we have to open that box in order for it to benefit the cells. Well, when you combine turmeric with black pepper extract, it literally opens up the curcumin cell. It helps your body to absorb it, right? So you have to have turmeric and black pepper together for the best bioavailability. Another thing that helps your body to absorb it is to have it with heat, right? Actually cook with it. And I really want to emphasize this because turmeric has become so popular. You find it everywhere. I see it in smoothies, and the smooth juice shop want to charge you an extra $2 to add turmeric to your juice. It isn't doing you any good. Juice is cold, and they're not adding black pepper to it, so you are not actually getting the benefits of the turmeric. So if you're one of those people who are like, oh, I feel like I'm doing something healthy every morning because I'm having a green smoothie and I'm putting some turmeric in it, it's not doing you any good. You have to open the curcumin cell. And the way that you do that is through black pepper and heat. So now that the cell is open, our body has the ability to absorb it, but it absorbs it super slow. And a lot of it can go to waste if it isn't absorbed properly. Well, just like regular vitamins and minerals are are absorbed with fat or absorbed with water, right? So you may have heard of water-soluble vitamins and fat-soluble vitamins. Curcumin is not a vitamin, it is a nutrient, but it is fat-soluble. That means, when you think of something being soluble, it's kind of like, what vehicle does it need to get in order for it to come through your cells, right? So let's say fat-soluble vitamins, their preference is to get inside of a Lexus. And a water-soluble vitamins preference is to get inside of a BMW. That is the vehicles that they need in order to enter your cell for you to get the benefits of them. If they are not in those vehicles, they are not getting into your cells. So curcumin is a fat-soluble nutrient. It needs fat in order to be absorbed. So even if you are already a step ahead and you are taking turmeric as a supplement, make sure that you take it with your largest meal or the meal in which you have the most fat, right? Don't have turmeric along with, a salad and some vinegar, or you're just having you're taking your turmeric supplement in the morning on an empty stomach. Don't do that. Take it with food for you to get the most benefit from it. So the next thing is, how much turmeric should you actually take, right? So we don't have an exact number for that, but we do have some research and showed at what point was it beneficial for that research. So I have some numbers here. I actually wrote this down because people always message me after I'm doing these lives around turmeric and like, well, how much should I have? So we know turmeric has lots of benefits. So there's one research studies where they took 500 milligrams of turmeric extract twice a day for 2 to 3 months, and it decreased people osteoarthritis pain that people felt in their knees, right? So if arthritis is a concern of yours and your purpose, and again, I want you to incorporate this only if it's appropriate for you or if you have these things that you think may be beneficial, right? That it may benefit. So for example, if you have arthritis, 500 milligrams of turmeric extract a day for 2 to 3 months helped people in the study to decrease arthritis pain. So that's really important to know if you are thinking about taking turmeric supplement, because now you can go to the store, and when you choose a supplement, I want you to flip it around on the back, and I want you to make sure that the supplement comes with bioperine, which is a black pepper extract, or it specifically says black pepper extract, right? Remember, pairing that black pepper with that turmeric is super important. Don't go waste your money on a supplement that only has turmeric in it. It needs the key to open the cells, all right? If you have high cholesterol, Another study showed that 700 milligrams of turmeric extract twice a day for 3 months decreased cholesterol by 32%. That's a significant amount. That is a natural way for you to decrease your cholesterol. This is a research study done. It's easy to Google. You guys, NIH, Med, what is it? What's the website? I think it's called Medline or something like that. Easy research studies to research. You can double check after me if you want to. But this is the amount that's shown in the studies to be effective, right? So it's not just, oh, you know, I want to help with my arthritis, so I'm going to like throw a little piece of turmeric inside of my smoothie in the morning, or I want, you know, to decrease my cholesterol, so I'm just like once a week I'm going to have a curry, right? It's not that simple. All of that is beneficial, of course. The more you get, the more you can, you know, every little bit helps. But you want to make sure that if you are really trying to improve a specific condition, that you know what the amounts that the study showed. Not just that they were taking turmeric, there are specific amount. In controlled studies, they actually have milligrams, specific amount, so they know that this is the amount that helped in the study, right? So if you have eczema or itchy skin, 500 milligrams of turmeric 2 to 3 times a day for 2 months actually help to decrease the symptoms around that. So these are just some of the studies that they've done around turmeric. But again, turmeric has been shown to be beneficial for a wide range of things. We know that it's angiogenesis inhibiting, which is also going to help you to lose weight and maintain your weight loss. All right, enough about turmeric. What is our number 2? Number 2, AITs. AI stands for, that's my personal lingo, for angiogenesis inhibiting teas. 3 very specific teas: Earl Grey, Jasmine Dragon Pearl, and Japanese Sencha. Those are 3 very specific teas. So I'm not just talking about, hey, have some mint tea in the morning, or have any old kind of green tea that you brought from, I don't know, Trader Joe's or whatever. You need to look for these specific teas. Why? Because those teas were specifically looked at for their angiogenesis inhibiting compounds. If you follow me for any time, then you know that I am all about the research. The research shows us exactly what works, right? Oh, you know what? Really quick, of course, because we're doing this live, I don't want to forget something. We also want to mention that, so when we talk about, I'm gonna backtrack back to turmeric real quick. So we're gonna flip back to my turmeric real quick, because I think you need to know this. When they looked at the research studies, they know that there's an average between 500 milligrams of turmeric extract a day, and I think it's like 1,500 was like the max range in which they did research around. But we know that the average Indian diet actually takes in around 2,000 milligrams of turmeric, but it's only equivalent to 60 to 100 milligrams of curcumin a day. So if you are Indian, Pakistani, Desi background, you eat a lot of curry, you still may want to consider supplementing with turmeric if you have specific things that you are trying to achieve from it, because the equivalent is only to about 60 to 100 milligrams of curcumin. If that means like if you ate traditional breakfast, lunch, and dinner or everything. And the research studies actually shows that you need about 500 to 1,500 of turmeric extract. So here's the difference. Turmeric itself is the 2,000 milligrams that the average Indian get from their diet. The research is done on turmeric extract, so they're looking at they're measuring the curcumin percentage or curcumin milligrams inside of the turmeric. when you look at the amount of curcumin inside of the average Indian diet, there's only about 60 to 100 milligrams, whereas the research study shows that you need about 500 milligrams in order to get the benefits from the research. Not saying that it's not helpful. Of course, any amount is going to be good, but you certainly want to, if you're trying to treat a specific thing or benefit a specific condition that you have, you may also want to consider adding turmeric supplement. So back to our teas. All right. So research shows that Earl Grey actually had the highest level of angiogenesis inhibiting compounds. Second was Jasmine Dragon Pearl. Of the teas that they tested, that's a green tea. It's a specific strain of green tea. And then Japanese Sencha, again a specific type of green tea, right? So all green tea is not the same. There's literally dozens of different types of green teas. Even though Earl Grey was higher than Japanese Sencha and Jasmine Dragon Pearl, when they combine Jasmine Dragon Pearl and Japanese Sencha together, the angiogenesis inhibiting compounds didn't merge with one another. You know what, we would think like, okay, well, if you put them both together, they'll average out, right? And they'll kind of merge together. But in fact, the compounds stacked on top of one another, and together they had higher amounts of angiogenesis inhibiting compound than the Earl Grey alone. So if that is kind of like your big concern, that or your and where you want to get your angiogenesis inhibiting compounds, consider getting those two and combining them together when you sit down and have your morning or evening tea. All right, so that was number 2. Number 3 is my favorite. Yeah, I know. I love greens, and I recommend greens. Brassica vegetables, right? These are the thick leafy greens. These are the things that, even though we're told all the time, eat your vegetables, they make you healthy. Eat more vegetables is going to help you lose weight. Eat more vegetables because they're great in fiber. We're told this all the time, but nobody really explains like how or why. So I'm going to give you 2 reasons why you should be eating more vegetables, specifically these dark leafy greens and brassica family like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, collard greens, kale, and turnip greens. The reason why you want to incorporate these into your diet and eat more of them, if you're only having them once a week or something like that, is because 1, they are really high in angiogenesis inhibiting compounds. So remember, those are our fat burning compounds. They're going to help you lose weight. They're going to help you maintain your weight loss over in a period of time as you consistently consume these things, right? Meaning that they're going to stop your fat cells from growing. They're going to help them to shrink, right? We know that. That's number 1. The second reason why these are really good in terms of incorporating into your diet to help you lose weight is we often refer to these as free foods. What does that mean? That means that they actually help you to burn more calories than what's in the food themselves, right? So I want to explain to you exactly how this works so that you can make really good informed decisions. It's not just about, a lot of people think, oh, well, you eat more vegetables because it helps you stay full. Yeah, it does that. Well, it fills you up temporarily. It doesn't help you stay full, but it fills you up, right? A lot of people, or other people will say, well, you eat more vegetables because they're really good in fiber, and fiber is going to keep everything flowing, and it's going to fill your tummy. Yeah, that's true, but that's not actually how it helps you physiologically. The way that it helps you physiologically is when we are eating foods or choosing foods to eat, right? Part of our metabolism is the amount of energy our body uses to actually break that food down. So when we say some foods boost your metabolism, it's because your body actually expends energy, that's your metabolism. It expends energy in order to break the food down to get the nutrients of the food. So, for example, there's one research study that looked at broccoli and the entire process of how much energy it takes for your body to break down broccoli. 1 cup of broccoli has about 10 calories in it, but your digestive system actually expends about 30 calories just to digest that 1 cup of broccoli. So you are actually expending more energy digesting the broccoli than what's in the broccoli itself. So this is a really good time to actually talk about the theory that we lose weight versus calories in versus calories out, right? That, oh, you have to stick to this amount of calories or you won't lose weight. Where your calories come from is more important. So theoretically, and they haven't done this research study because I don't know how many people you will actually find that will sit around and try to eat 1,500 calories of broccoli. I don't even know if that's possible because broccoli is so, it's so filling, right? If you actually ate 1,500 calories a day and all you ate was broccoli, because broccoli requires more calories in order for you to digest it, you would actually increase your metabolism 3 times that amount just from eating the broccoli. So if you ate 1,500 calories of broccoli, your body is not going to spend 1,500 calories digesting that broccoli. Your body is going to spend about, 4,500 calories digesting that broccoli, right? Because you are using more energy digesting the broccoli than what's in the broccoli itself, right? That's very different than if you say, hey, I'm going to have 1,500 calories of McDonald's, your body, or I'm going to have 1,500 calories of pasta or 1,500 calories of rice. Rice and pasta are not free foods. They don't give you a net value over than what you're eating. So that's another way that eating vegetables are really good, or brassica vegetables in particular, right? We don't have this type of research study around things like squash or around things like, well, there are some other vegetables, squash, potatoes, things like that. We don't have that research around them, but we know for these vegetables in particular, you're going to burn more calories than what's inside of the food itself. All right, so we got 3, we're down 3, we're halfway there. We know turmeric was number 1, AI fat burning teas were number 2, brassica vegetables were number 3, and number 4 is, we all use it, garlic. Garlic is anti-angiogenesis or angiogenesis inhibiting, right? Incorporate it into your diet, into your food. We know garlic has lots of benefits, but what we also found out is that it is really high on the angiogenesis inhibiting scale as far as the compounds. I'm giving you things also too in order, right? So if you have a question of, well, which one has more fat-burning angiogenesis inhibiting compounds? I gave it to you in order. Turmeric has more than the teas. The teas have more than the vegetables. The vegetables have more than the garlic. The garlic is number 4 on the line of what has the highest amount of angiogenesis inhibiting compounds. You want to incorporate garlic into your diet, specifically if you have cholesterol issues, right? We know that it's great. It boosts the immune system. It kills bacteria. It kills viruses, especially in this time when we're all trying to keep our immune system nice and high so that we don't get sick from either COVID or the flu now that we're going into flu season. It is great for you to incorporate garlic into your diet, into your meal plan, right? And don't think of garlic as just like, oh, I'm just going to add a little bit to my soup, or, right? Make sure you add that garlic. You can add it to stir fries. It's okay for you to make a quiche and add it to your quiche. Anywhere, anything that's savory, garlic works really, really well with. So garlic is super important. Number 5, right? Number 5. Oh, okay. I think I left out number 6. Number 5, soy. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them that soy is actually angiogenesis inhibiting and also has some benefits, right? Has lots of benefits, actually, because there's been a lot of myths around soy. So, some of the myths around soy is because it has a pseudoestrogen, then it is bad for you, right? That it simulates estrogen in the body. The problem with this is that that was a theory that was made that once actually researched did not pan out. So we know that soy actually has a pseudoestrogen in it, right? But when they actually did the research, they found that your body actually does not interpret that pseudoestrogen as estrogen. This is really great research. It's something that researchers and scientists are really trying to break the myth around soy, that they looked at over 5,800 women and whether or not their consumption of soy was associated with developing breast cancer. And they found absolutely no causation or correlation between the two. Soy actually has a lot of anti-cancer benefits, including its angiogenesis inhibition ability. So it's okay if you've been avoiding soy because you're like, oh, it's a pseudoestrogen. It is okay for you to have soy. But just like everything in our diet, it should be done in moderation. The problem what happens with soy is when people eat soy, in addition to all of the unnecessary soy that we are eating, right? Because soy is really cheap to add to stuff, right? You'll see a cereal that has soy flour in it. You'll see especially lots of vegan and vegetarian stuff that has soy in it. All of this is having too much. Is sort of kind of like the way that we also add wheat and gluten to everything, right? Everybody has all of these wheat and gluten allergies and nut allergies and soy allergies, not because these things that nature produces somehow attacking us. It's because we have overdone it in our system, overdone it in our environment. We've changed the way in which we consume it. So again, in moderation, soy milk, edamame, tofu, in moderation, right? I think I failed to print out my number 6, but my number 6 thing was berries. Strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, they're actually really high angiogenesis inhibiting compound. It is my personally favorite fruit because they are low in sugar, they are low on glycemic load, and they are high in angiogenesis inhibiting compound. Not as high as the other things, but they are higher than the things that are at the bottom. So those are your 6 fat-burning foods. What I recommend is that you try to incorporate at least one angiogenesis inhibiting compound nutrient food into your diet on a daily basis. Remember, it's all about consistency. An apple a day keeps the doctor away is a saying that wasn't talking about the apple. It was talking about consistency. Eating 7 apples on Sunday is not the same as eating 1 apple each day of the week. Angiogenesis inhibiting compounds and foods have the same philosophy. Eating 7 things that has angiogenesis inhibiting compounds on Sunday is not the same effect of eating 1 thing each and every day. So if you want to start eating with consciousness and eating with intention, make your meal plan for the week. And as you're looking at, hey, do I have enough protein? Am I keeping my sugar low? Am I eating enough fat? What are the things that I'm incorporating in terms of vegetables? I want you to also look at your diet on a 7-day period and say, hey, well, am I having at least 1 thing that is an angiogenesis inhibiting compound each and every day? All right? So I will talk to you tomorrow. And I don't even think I introduced myself. My name is Mubaraka Ibrahim, and I am a health and happiness coach. And if you found any benefit from this video, why don't you go ahead and share it, tag a friend, and let me know in the comments what are some of your favorite of these 6 things that we mentioned: angiogenesis inhibiting compound, nutrient dense foods. All of these things are nutrient dense and angiogenesis inhibiting compounds. All right, talk to you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.